Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So today we're observing Vrata for Amalaki Ekadasi. Today is already Dwadasi. Ekadasi finished this before 11 o'clock. But because yesterday sunrise time was still Dasami, therefore the Ekadasi Vrata from noon time yesterday was up to today was Ekadasi. But our Vrata is on this day. Because whatever tithi on the sunrise, that's the tithi that we follow. So we're following this Amalaki Ekadasi Vrata. Every month, Ekadasi, two Ekadasis come. So I know we've heard so many glories of Ekadasi. So, but there's no, it's not like, oh, we've heard, so we will not hear again. So it's like your friend, he comes once, then you will not welcome anymore. Like that. So today, we acknowledge he's coming. So it's like Ekadasi is the same as Krishna's appearance day. That day is Hari Vatsar. Hari resides on that day. So therefore, it will be like an offense. That day comes and we don't glorify him. So we have to, like when someone comes, then you have to welcome very nicely. If you're not rich, at least you offer some seed. You don't have to offer like golden seed or like that. Or like offer like a big feast. If you don't have anything, at least offer water. And really, what if you don't have even water? So at least offer some nice words to glorify him, make him happy. Okay, so today Hari Bhagavan has come. And so this is very important. What if he comes, then very auspicious. He said that Jiva very helpless. Actually, we're so powerless. And we can see, we're trying to practice bhakti. But before that stage of, like really now we attain bhav, or at least even the stage of nishtha. Before that stage, like so much problem, like so much obstacles are there. Anarthas are like coming again and again, and disturbing our desire to really become an actual devotee. So, what happens? Sometimes you really becomes very difficult. You become absorbed in many bad desires and like that. So, the day of Ekadasi, that is a very good day to take shelter of. And then so much help will come. Like at the time when you feel so hopeless, because maybe you have committed some offense. And usually because of offenses, then problems come. Sometimes, we're so enthusiastic and like that. But sometimes we come in like, no enthusiasm and so much attraction for material activities come. And why is that? Generally because you have committed some offenses. And so, let's say, and you want to change. And sometimes you can feel like so difficult. So he said, Ekadasi is a very important time to take shelter of. On this time, therefore you have to cry and you have to, that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, this time of Ekadasi is a time for introspection. It's like, okay, if you are a citizen of a country, let's say the president comes, and generally, you'll be happy to go there and give all your petitions, all your problems. We have no water here. We have no, our rice supply is very little, like that. We don't have police, like this. So you try to report whatever problem. So it's like that. On this time, Krishna himself, actually, Gurudev explained that Ekadasi is actually Krishna himself. Although someone is not wrong also to say that Ekadasi is a manifestation of Srimati Radharani, because Shakti, Shaktiman are different. But Gurudev made the distinction that really, this Ekadasi is Krishna himself. So if the president has come, Modi has come, Then you come like tell them, oh, our place, so many dogs, they're barking all night, like that. Or so many bundas in our place, like that. So then he will see and he will do something. He can do, he has the power. So the same with us. Sometimes we are so powerless. And so it is said that on this day, then this is the time, first, to be, very important to be sincere, really. Because unless you're sincere, then you will not see your condition. Like, you may think, oh, I'm a great devotee, and like that. So, but if you're sincere, and you can see all these problems, then this time is a time of introspect, like, oh, how many days have passed? 15, the last 15 days. Am I progressing in my bhakti? And then when you see really like, oh, I'm going down, low, like this, then you have to cry and pray, like, oh, Ekadasi has come. So now, like how it's like, you give all your petitions like this. Oh, like, oh, I'm so weak, and help me like this. No, and therefore you have to show also your sincerity and your desire, like strong desire. So, like just, like if you're really helpless, let's say you're a refugee, like now they have all this war and they're coming to a country like this. So then, let's say you need help for shelter and like this. So you're not gonna go party like before, or when you go to a border the border authorities, you're not gonna show that no, we're happy and like that. No, you have to show like, oh, we need your help like that, like really sincerely like this, and really showing that, oh, without your help, like, oh, I'm completely helpless, hopeless like that. So in the same way, like in our spiritual life, when we're on our path, sometimes we see, like, oh, long time I've been chanting, 30 years, 50 years, I have not experienced really this very strong attachment. Gurudev said, like, sometimes you can ask someone, how long have you been chanting? He said, oh, 15 years. And they're so proud, 15 years. And Gurudev said, did you ever feel that, oh, why I'm still alive? Because he said, if you have love, then you will not be able to live. You will always be daily thinking why am I here in this world and just be in the mood of separation. And already 50 years, 25 years have gone and nothing in this mood. It just shows oh, how far really have I progressed in my spiritual life. So, but especially when so many years have come and still so much attachment is there, and even it's growing, it's increasing, then you should feel like, oh my God, what's going on like this? And therefore, this time of Ekadasi is a very great time. It's like, oh, help has come. The authorities have come. And he can help you, he can give you power. So we see many analogies are there. The Ekadasi is like the nurse. They come, you're sick, they come, they nurse you. So regularly, it's not like, even if you don't want, they come also. Sometimes, because of our condition, and we have all these desires, then we become afraid, oh, Ekadasi is coming. Oh, hopefully, Ekadasi, because I have to fast. But they're coming. And really, you have to appreciate, oh, they're coming for you. But this is for your benefit. And they will be helping you. If you follow, let's say, you don't eat, you just fast. And really sincerely take shelter of Ekadasi. Ekadasi can help you so much. And these things that we hear about, these levels of this ruchi, asakti, bhava, like that, easily, Ekadasi can help you attain this, to frame. This is the greatest gift for Ekadasi. Okay, for us, we know this is the ultimate result. We follow Ekadasi because this is the real artha, this is the real wealth, this is the real goal. Some, their desire is for other things, like becoming very famous, or at least some, they have some desire to be pure. And easily also Ekadasi can get. And it's not a bad desire. Because unless you're at least on that platform, that you're pure, no sins, then how you can be like very easily to understand this devotion. You know, so much dirty, very difficult to understand all these transcendental things. So, Ekadasi can make someone become very pure. So this is like one of the common, like, you know, giving of Ekadasi, like making you free from all sins, like this. Even unknowingly doing this, unknowingly doing Ekadasi can make you become free from sin. This Ekadasi is not Amalaki. Amalaki, what is that? A tree. It's also considered actually like a holy tree. There is one anga of bhakti. There you can see Rupa Goswami, he listed 64 angas. One of that is like worship of holy trees, like Amla, Ablaki, Banyan tree, Ashwata, like that. So this tree, this Ekadasi is named on that. So what does that mean? Sometimes Ekadasi have different names. No? This sometimes we hear one Ekadasi is Shatila. That is how it is, like sesame seed. So is that Ekadasi, sesame seed Ekadasi? And this is like Amla Ekadasi, like that. So these are only like they give like an analogy. Of course, on this day, they recommend or you worship Amla. Some devotees on this day they worship in the Brahmanda Puran, because this Ekadasi Mahatmya book, our Gaudiya they gather all whatever Brahman, and the Brahman from the Vedas regarding the glories of each Ekadasi. So they gather directly from the Vedas. So some are coming from, they have Naradiya Puran, Brahmanda Puran, you know, Balam Puran, and others. So I've seen today this Amalaki Ekadasi, they took some pastime from Brahmanda Puran. And it talks about just a quick story that, it's showing here that one hunter, meaning he's from a very low caste, very sinful person. In his next life, he became a very great king. He became a very great king, a very pious king, like this. A great devotee king. How he became like that? In his previous life, he was a hunter. And it so happened that while in the forest, actually, like, he had nothing to eat. He was starving, and it was on the day because. And on the night, he saw there was the one king who is actually a very pious king. In his kingdom, everyone is very pious, and they all follow Ekadasi. So on this Ekadasi, they were there sitting on the underneath the Amla tree, and they're doing kirtan, like glorifying Bhagavan, like that. And so he was there. He said, "Oh, what is this whole their big gathering? They have all like nice lights and like that." So he became so attracted, and he was just watching them. So the whole night passed. He was just absorbed in what they're doing because they had a vigil. And so then later on, then the rest of his life continued. He was still sinful, but because of that one day, that unknowingly he was able to hear all these glories of these devotees doing this, and he was fasting. Then so much sweetness there in his next life, he became like very great king and very great devotee. Then after that, then he was liberated. He went to the Loka Vrindavan. So like that. Now, so many stories the same way, like many stories the same way. But ultimately, we can understand. And we can have some like appreciation. Like when you're sick, like let's say you're malnourished, then this amla, very strong vitamin C, is like it helps to recover the body like that. So it's like more like an analogy. that this Ekadasi is coming for us, malnourished jivas, like we're all like very weak. All so much anarthas are there. We have all these diseases. Okay. So now this Ekadasi is like this, like very strong source of like our vitamin C or whatever nourishment, and then it becomes strong like this. And so this is, we're not talking about strong body, but we're talking about spiritual body. When the reason we take Diksha, the reason we take Diksha is because we have come to the realization that this body is useless in serving Krishna. This body is material. With this material body, you cannot serve. You cannot serve Radha and Krishna because they're completely spiritual. No matter how strong your body is, So what happens? You approach the Guru, and Guru gives you Diksha. He gives you Diksha mantras. Along with that, of course, is Sambandha Gyan. And then, now, by following the instructions of your Gurudev, chanting all these mantras he gave you, this body becomes spiritualized. So with your spiritual body, then you can serve Radha and Krishna, like this. So right now, you have a strong body, but your spiritual body is very weak, like this. Yeah. At that time, when you're supposed to think about Krishna, what this body does not like to do, or likes to sleep, like this, or thinks of some other things, like that. And so sometimes very restless, like this. So now, with the help of the very good mercy of Bhagavan, now in the form of time, as Ekadasi, 2 times a month, coming, and especially this Ekadasi is like a very strong potency to make you how do you call this? Be healed from the malnourishment. So like that. So this Amlaki Ekadasi we're starting today. But I heard one Katha of Prabhuji. He said one speciality of this Ekadasi is in relation with Madhavendra Puri. Because it's tomorrow we observe Madhavendra Puri's disappearance. Madhavendra Puri disappeared on Dwadasi. So that means like he waited this Ekadasi, and after this Ekadasi, then he left this world. And he felt, oh, I have done my mission here, like this. And after that, then next celebration is Lord Purnima, So we will discuss tomorrow about Madhavendra Puri. Tomorrow is disappearance. Prabhuji was mentioning that the one speciality of this Ekadasi is the relation with Madhavendra Puri. And by Madhavendra Puri, then we're appreciating now all this the gift of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, with that, we offer our glorification to Ekadasi today. And should we continue with Chaitanya Shikshamrit? Then maybe, daily nectar, dose of nectar, then we get reading this. But again, I encourage you, now, Purnima, very soon, some devotees, they're doing Navadvip Parikrama. So it's very good at this time that we begin to absorb ourselves, like being in Navadvip. So we may be here, but it doesn't stop us from doing Navadvip Parikrama. Like actually be there, absorbed in these places of very glorious place of Mahaprabhu's Lila places. So therefore, on your free time, especially to the Ekadasi, utilize this day to read Navadvip Mahatmya. Because this book is, if you read, then, very nice, this very great gift of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So we have classes of this evening time, Vedari Prabhu, like this. But I know many miss this. So that's not, it doesn't mean like you will not read. So you can read. These are like very very auspicious gifts of our Guru Varga, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Nobody else revealed, actually, these things. Only Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So it's like, this is a special gift, so we should take advantage. But for now, we're reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita. You remember where we are yesterday, what we discussed. What? It's about yesterday. Mainly, there was a discussion on Shaktis, no? Because which part of this of the 7 about Sambandha? Because there are seven teachings, no, about Sambandha. Remember, there are nine teachings. Of the 10, 9 are the actual teachings, and 1 is the what? The Brahman, the evidence, right? So that's number 1. First, establish the evidence, then you start teaching. So 9 teachings are there. 7 of those are about Sambandha, relation. So again, what are they? It's good to repeat. No, what? So there's like 3 about Krishna, 3 about the Jiva, and 1 about the conclusion. No. So what is 3 about Krishna? Yeah, his Paramatattva. Second, Shaktiman, discussion about Shakti, Krishna Shakti. Okay. Then 3 is about Rasa. About Krishna is the relisher of all Rasa. So that is 3. Now then the next 3 is about the Jiva. What is the first one? No, like Jiva Tattva first. That the Jiva is Vibhinamsa Tattva. Right? Separate part and parcel of God. And then one is about the Vata Jiva. The Jiva is in the material world. And the other one is Mukta. Those are liberated from Maya. Okay, so that's 6 now. 7 is what? Achintya Veda Vedattva. Okay, the discussion, explanation, how everything is separate and non-separate from Krishna. So that's 7. And then 2 more. One about Abhidaya, which is Abhidaya, our practice, our activity, which is Bhakti. And 9, what is it called? Prayojan. Prayojan is the goal, which is praying. Okay. So we've discussed about Krishna as Paramatattva. We discussed about Krishna as Shaktiman. So now we're still in the discussion and going towards Rasa. So we ended with the discussion the things Mahaprabhu mentioned to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He is saying that the Swarup of Bhagavan is full of Satchit Ananda. Satchit Ananda. And these three portions of this spiritual potency, Satchit Ananda, they assume 3 different forms. And they are called what? Ladini, Sandini, and Samvit. And he said, we accept these 3 aspects as full of knowledge of the Supreme Person. The spiritual potency of the Supreme Person also appears in 3 ways. Okay, so another way that this Shakti appears is in 3 ways. And that is internal, marginal, and external. The internal, Antaranga, that is called Chit Shakti. Then the marginal, the Jiva Shakti, and the external, Maya Shakti. Or the Antaranga, Bairanga Shakti. These are all engaged in his loving devotional service. So, in essence, so he said, Mahaprabhu is saying, this Shakti is actually engaged in service of Bhagavan. Because really, that is the function of Shakti. So now, we continue. So we start here. He's saying, Sri Krishna's Atma Shakti. So we say Atma Shakti is that his own, not self-potency. There's a thing, like so many terms using, but referring really to just the same, like Shakti. The sort of Shakti, now Atma Shakti. Sri Krishna's Atma Shakti. Another name is Parashakti. And highest potency. And Swarup Shakti, meaning the internal potency, are all the same potency. He's saying like that. Okay, so these are all different names, different labels. So there's Atma Shakti, Parashakti, Swarup Shakti. They're all the same potency. By Krishna's will, this Parashakti has the following three prabhavs. It has three vibhavs and three anubhavs. So now you may understand or not, we'll just read through this. Okay, but we'll attempt to understand. Now, because they use all these terms, and they're actually very specific terms. So he's saying this Parashakti, meaning this sort of Shakti, Atma Shakti of Krishna, has three prabhavs, three vibhavs, and three anubhavs. So that's the thing. Now we have to differentiate. What is meaning of prabhav, vibhav, anubhav? Otherwise, we'll be confused. So, and the way to understand that is we look at example of this. So now let's just go read this and we'll conclude later on, how we understand, how we differentiate this. The prabhav, vibhavs, and anubhavs. But generally, when you say prabhav, it actually refers to your own power, like one's own power. Okay. And when you say vibhav, vibhav is more like the mode of, it's like the medium of this power, like this. And literally, when you say vibhav, it's like light, the emojis. So, anything that causes an experience, like you say by vibhav, then the experience is the result. So, anubhav is, to differentiate vibhav and anubhav, is like vibhav is the cause and anubhav is the result. Anubhav means realization or experience. So, based on the vibhav, then some specific anubhav is there. You're following? So, anyway, we'll explain that. So we said there's three of each. Three prabhav, three vibhav, and three anubhavs. The three prabhavs, they translate this as personal expressions, are the Ichcha Shakti. That is the willing potency, the desire potency, Ichcha Shakti. So, look, when you say prabhav, these are like his own power. The first one is Ichcha Shakti. That one is only Krishna's. That's like original of Krishna. Like the desire, Krishna is the only one that desires really. So that is desire power. That's Ichcha Shakti. That's like very specific power of Krishna. Yes. So that is one prabhav. Then next one is Kriya Shakti. Kriya Shakti means action potency. Action potency. And then there's the Jnana Shakti. Jnana Shakti, what is that? Knowledge potency. And okay, so these are like three prabhavs. You will see these three activities or three manifestations in Krishna's power. One is the desiring power, because really he desires. One is action power. From the desire, then activity will result, And then from that activity, some knowledge is realized also. So these three activities. That's Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti. Then the three three vibhavs. So vibhavs are he's saying here, expressions of opulence. I don't know how accurate is translation, but that's how they translate here. What are they? They are Chit Shakti, Jiva Shakti, and Maya Shakti. Now, how is this different from Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Jnana Shakti? And you can see, like, how you can compare them, because you know these are all functions of Shakti. This is we have to appreciate how Bhaktivinoda Thakur have analyzed this, and in a way he made us appreciate something, because you will not come to the appreciation of rasa if we don't discuss this. That's why he's discussing this. He's discussing all this like this, so then later on, then you can understand about rasa like that. So he's saying there's Chit Shakti, Jiva Shakti, and Maya Shakti. What is that? Like really, they are the transformation of Shakti. The Chit Shakti, that means the original manifestation, right? And then the shadow, we will mention that's Maya Shakti. And then that particular Shakti that can go on both, that is the Jiva Shakti. So that particular division, that is called Vibhav. The Vibhav of his Shakti. Okay, so when you say Vibhav, that's why I said it's like the mode, like the region of influence of that Shakti. So there's the actual spiritual world, the material world, and then the Jivas. So that's Vibhav. And the Prabhav, that is actually the three divisions, like the three departments, which can be they can function within the Vibhav, right? The Prabhav, that is the actual potency that can act on the Vibhav. So the three will be there. What are the three? Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti. They can be there in the Chit Shakti. They can be there in the Jiva Shakti. They can be there in the Maya Shakti. Understand? So there's the Prabhav and the Vibhav. Then he said the three Anubhavs. So then the Anubhavs now, these are the actual realization, experience, realization of, he said here, personal ecstasies. With regards to Bhagavan, that's referring to his own realization. So what is that? Sandini, Ladini, Sambit. Okay, so Sandini, Ladini, and Sambit. Now we will clarify this more. He said further, the following points further qualify this as far as this discussion. In the Prabhav division, the Chit Shakti being influenced by the Ichha Shakti manifests the Leela peaks. Do you still remember? When you say the Chit Shakti, what is that? That's a Vibhav, no? That's one of the Vibhav, the Chit Shakti, meaning that's the spiritual world, right? He said, in the Prabhav division, the Chit Shakti influenced by Ichha Shakti manifests what? He said, he manifests the Dham, all the pastime places, Golok, Vaikuntha, and others. But that's referring to the Chit Shakti. Okay, that's all in the book. He said, this potency also manifests, what else? The names of the Lord, like Govinda, Krishna. And also, not just the name, his forms also. His forms. Because they are all like in the chit, spiritual. So he has some 2-arm forms, 4-arm forms, 6-arm forms in Vaikuntha, Golok, Vrindavan. Chit Shakti also manifests the associates who perform leelas with the lords in these places, together with the leelas themselves. and the Lord's qualities such as mercy, generosity, and forgiveness. Okay, so that is in the Chit Shakti. Chit Shakti manifests all this. But that's only within the spiritual world, right? But how they manifest, that's from the Icha, from the Icha Shakti. The Chit Shakti being influenced by the Gyan Shakti, now Chit Shakti influenced by the Gyan Shakti. Okay, first by Icha, then what happens? Then manifest, and that is actually that thing being manifested. That after they manifested, that we call that now Sandini. So that is Anubhav now, Sandini. Existence. There's existence now because the things are manifested. But where are they manifested? For Chit Shakti, they're in the spiritual world, right? All the different associates, the dham, even the forms, like this. So they're all that manifestation coming from the desire first, right? That's Icha Shakti. Okay. So now I said, now again in this Chit Shakti, he said being influenced by Gyan Shakti meaning knowledge potency. Then the different perceptions are like manifested. What perceptions? Like perceptions of opulence, perceptions of sweetness. That's from Gyan Shakti. Saying. So what is that? Like Sambandha Gyan. So in Chit Shakti, this Sambandha, this or whether opulence, he's God, like that. No, he's my Lord. Or that sweetness. He's my friend. Like all this sweetness, that knowledge of his sweetness, that is there in Chit Shakti. All these things. So we're not talking about the material world. So this is just Chit Shakti first. Okay, so, and actually, he's only giving this example. He's not giving full example, like also in the material world and like this. So now it's up to us, to extend this discussion, but just to have some understanding. But you're able to follow. So these different perceptions, opulence, sweetness, beauty of the spiritual world, this is because of the influence of Gyan Shakti and Chit Shakti. Okay. Only Sri Krishna possesses this Icha Shakti. Only Krishna possesses the Icha Shakti. The presiding deity of Gyan Shakti. Okay, now he's talking this. Why did he say that? Only Krishna possesses Icha Shakti. Because he's telling that every Shakti has their predominating deity. So when we talk about Icha Shakti, that's only Krishna. So he said the presiding deity of Gyan Shakti, his knowledge potency, he said is Vasudev. So that is Vasudev. And the presiding deity of the Kriya Shakti is Balaram Sankarshan. And you may say, why? It's like, why not? That's Krishna assigned like that, So what else can we do? That cannot be you. So then he said the Jiva Shakti, also known as the Shakti, being affected by the influence of Icha, Gyan, and Kriya. Now he's just making it like now. How do you call it? Like shortcut now. He said, now he was talking about Chit Shakti. Okay, that's understandable now. Now, how about the Jiva Shakti? He said, now, being influenced by Icha, Gyan, and Kriya Shakti, then what happened? Different personalities are like manifested. From the eternal associates to the demigods, to the humans, to the deities, to the demons. And each one of them, okay, first they have their existence, right? It's coming from the Icha Shakti. Now, there's also the influence of Gyan Shakti, meaning relation. So then they can be like, I'm the enemy, I'm the servant, like that, And as far as the Kriya Shakti, then based on that, their activities. Like he said, what's the example of in Chit Shakti? The Kriya Shakti. not give example, no. Activities, like say in the spiritual world, they have all the different activities based on their knowledge. Based on their sambandha, they have all their activities. Like the gopis, the cowherd boys, they have their own activities. In the material world also, all these activities are doing. If you're a demon, then you have a specific, because based on whatever gyan or sambandha you have, which is a corrupted one, then you have an activity which is a corrupted activity. Okay, so that is now in the material world. So he said, all realization of Krishna's activities. So now, he's jumping now. He said, realization of all Krishna's activities. He's talking about anubhavs now. Anubhavs. So these are realization. So, this vibhav and anubhav, they are intermingling, then they are realized. Okay, so that is also by Shakti. Because you cannot do anything without Shakti. So these activities of the mingling or influences of the vibhav and prabhu, that is also understood by, or like we can realize by us, by the anubhav, another aspect of Swarup Shakti. So there are three anubhavs. And what is that? Sandini, Sambit, and Ladini. So he said, all realization of Krishna's activities are awakened by the influence of his Kriya Shakti. So all these anubhavs, Sambit, Ladini, and Sandini, that is awakened by the influence of Kriya Shakti. Kriya Shakti. Okay? So that is why he did not mention, he discussed about Vibhav, Anubhav, and Chit Shakti. But now he said, Kriya Shakti, he said, this Kriya Shakti, really what it means that you will realize all these Anubhavs. Or it's awakened by this Kriya Shakti. There are three distinct features of Chit Shakti. Okay, so Sandini, Sambit, and Ladini. So these three features, Sandini, Sambit, and Ladini, these are the Anubhavs. So here is saying they are the three features of Chit Shakti. The mixing of all of them produces direct and indirect ecstatic divine emotions experienced in the pastimes of Krishna. Okay, so we take this. He is explaining this not just for the, how do you call this? Like details of analysis of Shakti. He is explaining this only to bring us to the point of rasa. So, because when we talk about rasa now we're talking about Krishna is Rasabdin. He is the ocean of rasa. When we talk about rasa, there's all the enjoyment. He's a supreme enjoyer. That's basically that's what it means. He's Sarva Shaktiman, that's number 2, and number 3 is that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. And his enjoyment is not this material world. His enjoyment is the love. So this experience of love, this rasa. So when we talk about rasa, he said, these are produced by the mixing of all the direct and indirect emotions which are experienced in the pastimes of Krishna. And so again, what did he say about the pastimes of Krishna? He said Krishna's activities manifested in his pastimes, they are awakened by the influence of his Kriya Shakti. Okay, so he said, this is the ultimate goal. The potency of Shri Krishna is unlimited, unparalleled, and immeasurable. All the activities of the Chit Shakti are eternal. Okay, so we're talking about Chit Shakti, that means in the spiritual. Okay, he said all the activities there are eternal. In his teachings to Sanatana Goswami, Mahaprabhu said, Yadyapi asrija nitya chit shakti vilas tattapi sankarshan ichaya kara prakash. Although Sri Krishna's all spiritual pastimes, which are all the actions of his chit shakti, are eternal and are not created at any time, they are nonetheless manifest by the will of Bhagavan Sankarshan. So he said, material nature is also known as Chaya Shakti. Chaya means shadow. Chaya. So this is what we said before. This material nature, Maya Shakti, is also known like a shadow. So the Chit Shakti is the real Shakti. The shadow Shakti is the material, Maya Shakti. Chaitanya Charitamrita states, Maya dware srije tayo brahmandera gana jara rupa prakriti nahe brahmandera karan jara haitye srishti nahe ishvara shakti vine tahaitye sankarshan kore shaktira adhane ishvarera shakti srishti kore prakriti lavajena agni shakti payadaha sakti. Sri Krishna creates the material universes by his Maya Shakti. Did you get that? No question on that. That Krishna creates the material universes by his Maya Shakti. That means he's not doing directly. We just said that he creates, but really he's not doing. Has nothing to do with that. That is coming from his ichcha. You know, the ichcha, the desire is there, but this is carried out by Maya Shakti. Some think that inert material nature is the root cause of the universe. However, this is erroneous thinking because by herself, she has no power to do anything. Material nature has no power to do anything. Only after being empowered by the potency of Ishvara can she create the material world. Without empowerment from the energy of Bhagavan, she cannot create. Bhagavan Sankarshan empowers material nature with his energy, and then she is able to perform the work of creation. For example, if one places an iron rod in fire, it becomes a red hot and can then burn vapor, and anything else to ashes. Iron by itself cannot burn vapor. It is the burning potency of fire, having entered into the piece of iron which burns the vapor to ashes. Did you get the analogy? Okay, so is that this material world has no power by itself to create anything, but it's only because of the potency. It's there. So by the virtue of Krishna's power, which is actually Maya Shakti, then this material world manifests, produces so many things like this. But they're also very temporary. So he's giving an analogy of iron. Iron has no power to burn something. But if you put this iron in fire, then it gets the quality of fire. So anywhere you put this iron, then it gets burned like this. So Sri Krishna's Kriya Shakti, the action potency, is actually called Sankarshan Shakti. The power of Sankarshan. The destructible transformation of this Maya Shakti is the material universe. What does it mean? The destructible transformation of this Maya Shakti is the material universe. Why is that destructible transformation?
Temporary.
Because it's temporary. That is with regards to Maya Shakti. Maya Shakti is the transformation of Sarup Shakti, but it's destructible. It is temporary. There is the eternal one, that is the Chit Shakti. But look, when we say Maya Shakti, that's also eternal. Maya Shakti is always eternal. But when we say the transformation of this Maya Shakti, there are so many manifestations of this. Like, this table, like that. They're all temporary. They all can be destroyed. But they're coming from the eternal energy still. Maya Shakti is eternal. Understand? Ernest, go ahead. No, we said the transformation, the destructible transformation. We're talking about the transformation, not my Shakti. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, this temporary. Manifestations of my Shakti are temporary. Okay. But the potency itself is eternal, like this. Maya Shakti is eternal, but this Maya transforms into so many things, and they are destructive. This topic is discussed thoroughly in the fourth rainfall. So now, then we proceed to Rasa Tattva. So now the third point now, Krishna as the ocean of rasa. Okay. Sri Krishna himself is Rasa Tattva. So that's why you hear that Raso by Saha. What does it mean really? Raso by Saha. He is Rasa. That's what it actually means. Krishna himself is Rasa. So okay, yeah, it will be discussed now what it means. So he said Krishna himself is Rasa Tattva. And this is described in the Vedas. Okay, so again, he's showing evidence. Everything we say is from the Vedas. In the first stream of the seventh rainfall, towards the end of the book. So the seventh rainfall, that's already the last chapter. So he said, in the first stream of that, okay, hopefully we can arrive that far with our reading. Who knows how far we can read. So he said, there is an extensive description of Rasa Tattva. And yeah, there's extensive description of Rasa Tattva, like also in Jaiva Dharma. He said, words are material. Words are material. Therefore, whatever is said, even with greatest care, whatever you said, even with greatest care, some people, they're very careful. They have to use exact word like that. Some people, they become offended because of very short mistake, and even use of pronouns like this. So he said, these words are material. Whatever is said, even with great care, is bound to be material. Or have some material inference. So when you say material, that means meaning really very limited. If however a reader is endowed with faith, then transcendental rasa will appear in his pure heart. So now, before discussing this, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's telling us how to qualify to even understand this. So he said, first he's giving a warning. Okay, we will discuss this, but we will be using some words. And take note, words are material. Yeah, it will be limited. Okay, so they'll be bound. One thing is, whatever, even if I nicely discuss this, you have some material mind also. And therefore may be difficult to understand like this. But he said, if the reader or like listener has faith, if you are endowed with faith, then this transcendental rasa can appear in the heart. Then possible to understand. But despite millions of even the greatest of efforts on the path of logic and argument, this tattva will never awaken within the heart. So he's saying like that. He said, okay, possible if you have faith. But he said, impossible, even with the greatest effort for logic and argument. So meaning, logic and argument, no entrance to this discussion. And if you rely on logic and argument to understand this, you'll never understand. This tattva will never awaken within their heart. It is only possible by supremely good fortune and the effect of associating with a pure devotee. Okay, so he said, only by good fortune you can understand this. And really, where is this good fortune coming from? Really by association of devotees. One has to be especially cautious and alert in the process of realizing Rasa Tattva. Also, okay, one thing he has described the limitations of this world and what is required, but then he's now giving warning. Very careful. He said one has to be especially cautious and alert in the process of realizing Rasadattva. If an inquisitive person falls into bad association and cultivates mundane rasa, accepting it as transcendental, it transforms into imitation, prakrita rasa sahajism, and he is forever degraded. So then there's that warning. Like, okay, you may be studying this. Okay, you may be studying this. But if you're not careful, you go into bad association. And what happens? By bad association, you begin to cultivate mundane rasa. While now having this knowledge on this, this actual rasa, and at the same time cultivating mundane rasa, accepting it that, oh, this what you're cultivating is the same as that, mundane rasa, then what happened? Then it transformed into like an imitation. This is called sajism. And what happens? Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, you are forever degraded. As long as you like that, you'll be forever degraded. Sri Krishna is the sum total of rasa, and 64 transcendental qualities are found in him. So, now, where did this 64 transcendental qualities coming from? So there are 64 transcendental qualities found in him. Yeah, these are based on the discussion of Sri Goswami. Now, there's actually a footnote. Okay, here, footnote number 14. Let's read that. He's saying, he's actually quoting the actual source of this 64 qualities. So here, this is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. He's saying there are the qualities of Sri Krishna. Then they're mentioning 64. Now, don't think that he only has 64. Huh? Don't think Krishna has only 64. Because then you may say that, oh, someone else has 65 or 66. Because you're listing other qualities that's not here. Like that. But 64, these are already analyzed that they include all the other qualities. And reality, Krishna unlimited qualities. But these are the very prominent ones that we can perceive. So here, what are they? He has charming bodily limbs, endowed with auspicious characteristics, beautiful, radiant, that's number 4, 5, strong, 6, eternally youthful, 7, conversant with many kinds of astonishing languages, number 8, truthful, number 9, pleasing speaker, number 10, eloquent, number 11, intelligent. Now, this you can see also in jivas, these things. But you will not find them in full. Krishna have in full, all these. 12, learned, 13, resourceful, 14, expert in relishing mellows, 15, clever, 16, expert, 17, grateful, 18, very firm in his vows, 19, astute judge of time, place, and circumstance, number 20, a seer through the eyes of Shastras. So he also looked in the eyes of Shastras. 21, pure, 22, self-control, 23, steadfast, 24, forbearing, 25, forgiving, 26, inscrutable. What's inscrutable? Huh? Difficult to know what he's thinking. Inscrutable. Inscrutable. 27, sober. 28, equipoised. 29, munificent. Munificent. Number 30, virtuous. 31, chivalrous. 32, compassionate. 33, respectful to others. 34, amiable. 35, modest. 36, shy. 37, protector of the surrendered souls. 38, happy. 39, well-wisher of his bhaktas. 40, controlled by praying. 41, benefactor of all. 42, tormentor of his enemies. 43, famous. So this quality tormentor is enemies. This is also the quality. Number 43, famous. 44, beloved by all. 45, partial to the side of the sadhus. So that is a special quality, being partial to the side of sadhus. This is like Vatsalya, 46, enchanter of women's minds. 47, worshipable for all. 48, all opulent. 49, superior to all. And 50, controller. So he's saying these 50 qualities are present to a minute degree to the jivas, in the jivas. Whereas in Bhagavan, they are fully there. To an unlimited degree, like an ocean. Then another 5 of qualities in Krishna are present in the demigods, in Lord Brahma, Shiva, but not in ordinary jivas. So now, that's 50, no? So then there's 5 more, which not anymore with ordinary jivas. Maybe if you're a demigod, maybe you have this. So he said, they are, number 51, always situated in his swarup. 52, omniscient. 53, ever fresh and new. 54, the concentrated form of Satchit Ananda. And 55, served by all mystic opulences. Then, Lakshmipati Narayan has an additional 5 qualities. So what is that? Meaning these are not with the demigods anymore. Only Narayan has this. Of course Krishna has this, but also Narayan. He possesses inconceivable potencies. Innumerable universes are situated within his body. He is the original cause or seed of all incarnations. He awards a higher destination to those whom he kills. 60. He can attract even those who are atmaram. He's so satisfied. So then, he said these additional 5 qualities are present. They are present in Brahma or Shiva, but they are wonderfully present in Sri Krishna in their most complete form. Besides these 60 qualities, Sri Krishna has 4 extra qualities, namely, and you know all that. He has, he's like a vast ocean teeming with waves of the most astonishing, wonderful leelas. So that is Leela Madhuri. 62, adorned with incomparable Madhurya prem. That is Prem Madhuri. Then 63, he attracts the 3 worlds with his marvelous vibration of his flute. That is Vena Madhuri. And 64, the resplendent roop, the beauty of his transcendental form is unparalleled, charming and astonishing to all moving and non-moving entities in the 3 worlds. So, those are the 64 qualities mentioned. Okay, we have to stop. Let me just see where we end, then we can go tomorrow. The same place. Oh, sorry, he said. So this 64 quality, this 64. No. So as we've said, the first 50 of these qualities are found minutely in the jivas. The 50 qualities on a larger scale, plus 5 more, are found in the demigods. Because of this, even though they are separate parts of Krishna, they are considered controllers, the demigods. Then those 55 qualities in their fullest form, plus 5 more, are also in their fullness appear in Narayan, Vishnu, and other incarnations. These 60 attributes of Vishnu plus another 4 are all present in Krishna. Thus, only Shri Krishna, composed of all rasa, is the supreme controller, the possessor of all potencies and the absolute truth. All varieties of the Swarup Shakti assume personified forms as assisting ingredients of the different mellows: Shanta, Dasya, Satya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. The essence of the Dini Shakti is Srimati Radhika. the daughter of Vrishabhanu Maharaj, and the most beloved of Sri Krishna. Even though this rasa is eternally situated in Goloka, by the desire of Sri Krishna, his Yoga Maya manifests this complete rasa in the entirety within the Braj found here in the material world. Okay, so that's only happening because of Yoga Maya's achintya. One whose intelligence has not gained the power to go beyond the material qualities of the modes of nature remains unqualified to attain or even deliberate upon this rasa tattva. Okay, so unless our mind is not purified from the modes of material nature, we cannot understand this rasa tattva. Such person understands braja rasa to be material. They will only take braja rasa to be material and thus neglect it. The Srimad Bhagavatam states that those who describe or hear Braj Ras with full faith, they very quickly attain the highest form of devotion. They will attain prem, Krishna prem. That is the highest parabhakti, and become eternally free from the disease of the heart, which is lust. Okay, this is the highest limit of Srimad Mahaprabhu's teachings. So here he said, this is the highest limit of Mahaprabhu's teaching. Realizing this, Krishna prem, Braja prem. Okay, so we finished that chapter. So then we continue next rainfall. Rainfall? No, we're still in the first rainfall, but we're now in the fourth stream, which is about Jiva. Okay. Jai Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Thakur Ki Jai, Jai Shri Shamiti Ki Jai, Good Premanandi. Probably because Jiva Sarupa was only